Welcome to Africa Beyond Borders. I'm sure you're wondering, you've been seeing me do this show alone for a whole 2 episodes. But this time I'm starting it with someone different, someone new, and someone who'll be taking over after this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, Seraya Mentor. How you doing, Seraya?
I was doing so good, thank you, Ashwyn. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's good to have you on the show. Just letting you know, on this episode, we're also going to be talking to Mupalo, who is in Zambia. She is a creative artist and entrepreneur there. I will have that conversation with her, but we thought for the introduction, why don't you meet your incoming presenter and get to know about Seraya Mentor, who also just came back to Namibia. So Seraya, you were in South Africa at AFDA. Yes. What were you studying?
I was studying motion picture, specifically producing and writing.
All right.
Yeah.
How did you find that? How was it like being in Cape Town? You know, I told you, we were just talking about the last time I saw you. You were at National Theatre, you know, certainly much
running
around the theatre, and now you're a grown lady. How does it feel? What's it like being in Cape Town all the way, you know, coming from Namibia?
Well, you know, I actually studied in Gqeberha, formerly known as Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And
what you say again?
Gqeberha.
I
Yes,
Yeah.
PE.
Yeah.
They call it GQ now.
Oh, GQ, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
it was, I love the ocean. So that was like, okay, except AFDA was amazing. The ocean was also like a bonus.
All right.
It was amazing. It was such a great experience. I had so much fun.
So much. And you're beyond just, you know, screen producing and writing.
Yeah.
You're a performer yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us about your craft. I believe it's dancing.
Yes, I'm a professional dancer. I've been dancing for over a decade.
All right.
And going to South Africa, I got my qualifications here in ballet.
All right.
In Namibia.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got ballet. I just got breakdancing. That's just all
That's
I know.
cool though. That's cool. I get like, as ballerinas, when it comes to like learning hip hop and like stuff, you're just like, oh, what is that?
All right, because it's so structured.
Yeah, it's
so
technique.
structured.
It's everything is to the T. But going to South Africa, they have a bigger dance industry there. So I was also professionally dancing like almost every month. You're working on productions for like 6 months, 3 months. I'm constantly, so if I'm not on a film set, I'm like on a theater, just rehearsing. And it was such a great experience because I was not sleeping, but I was like tired from doing what I love.
I hear you.
Yeah.
What was it like being a Namibian in South Africa, just like in that society?
Oh man, weirdly enough, people don't speak Afrikaans there, or like black people.
Yeah.
Or like specifically in PE,
Yes.
not a lot of people embrace Afrikaans, like the black community. So I felt like, okay, I'm the Xhosa community now.
right.
Like, how do I embrace that? But I also miss my Afrikaans roots, and I'm also like Portuguese from my dad's side.
Okay.
So I was,
Yes.
yes. So just like the lingo, getting
Yes.
used to that was fun.
All right.
And my foreign friends, they would just embrace me so well.
Isn't that interesting though, that when you go to a foreign nation, you tend to now connect with a whole lot of diasporan people from different, any friends from countries that I might not expect?
Well, all of them were from South Africa,
Okay.
but you have different cultures. So like Islam, Indian, Afrikaans.
Yes.
I have a friend from Kenya as well,
Yes.
and Mozambique. So
And as an artist, like you kind of have to, you know, you can't grow your art without interacting with as you know many diverse people as possible.
Yeah.
Do you feel like those interactions were part of how your artistry grew while you were in South Africa?
yes, because you were saying how the different people helps my art.
Yes.
That definitely did.
It
because even like I'm also a choreographer.
Okay, girl.
And I got to
okay, girl.
I got to choreograph quite a few productions as well. So in that process, I learned about researching cultures and stuff like that. And they do much more like American Broadway type of shows as well.
Yes.
So you have to research cultures and costumes.
That's an
and
interesting
it's
thing.
so
Because you know, a
intricate.
lot of people don't know that art has a lot of research.
Yes.
A lot of people think that like artists, we just sit down
Oh my gosh.
with our toys and we have an idea
Yeah.
and then we just go to stage and it goes. But there's a lot of research, especially when you're reflecting cultures, when you're reflecting different kinds of people. I think that's very fascinating. So at AFDA, do you feel like you found that experience fulfilling? Like if you could sum it all up, would you say this was a fulfilling experience that I'll do again? Of course, not having your repeated degree, but you know that you'll do again. Is it like that for you?
Yes. After it's like gold to me, getting there, because I just wanted to be on film set, on film school. So their reputation, like this is a school that has Emmy nominations, Oscar
Absolutely.
wins.
Absolutely.
It's like the elite.
Yes, 100%.
So to be there was like amazing because
Yeah.
I got like a bursary that paid almost everything for
Yes.
me. And getting that opportunity, I must say that I graduated valedictorian and cum laude as well. So that was
interesting. This was interesting.
Yeah.
Africa Beyond Borders is probably the only show, it's definitely the only show in Namibia that has had 2 valedictorian cum laude
What?
graduates from Namibia in South Africa. 2 episodes away from each other. Our first episode was
What?
with Anne Hambuda. She
Oh,
also
yes.
graduated cum laude at AFDA, and now it's you. Second episode was my beautiful sister, who I love very much, who I expect to graduate cum laude in Poland, but that's not the point. I think that's fantastic because it's also showing that Namibians in that space, you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
You're flying the flag
Yeah,
high. It's one
yeah.
thing to go there and to do a degree, it's another thing to graduate top of the class. How
Yes.
does that feel?
Oh, I wasn't actually aiming to be the best.
Yeah.
I was just having fun.
You were just having fun,
Yes.
right? But you were committed to what you
Yeah,
were doing.
it's you have to love it. Like
Yes.
we had school 9 to 5. I loved every second of it. And what thing about after they bring out outside people, so you
Yes.
sit with producers that produce big films like Spud. Is Spud?
Spud, yes.
Yes. I can't think, but there's so many other more
Yes, yes.
producers that you sit with, writers that you sit with.
Yes.
It's such a great platform.
All right,
Yeah.
no, that's really awesome. And now we're bringing you on to Africa Beyond Borders.
Yeah.
You're going to be the presenter of the show. I go in the background happily. So, and part of the reason I thought that would be fantastic is I see that you find it quite easy to connect with a wide range of people. You know, are you excited to now be, talking to people across the world and just, bringing their experiences to the viewers?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited because one thing that stood out for me as a kid was dreaming
Yes.
and seeing someone else who comes from the same background as you.
All right.
So for me to just be a vessel in that, to allow people to see what other people are doing,
Yes.
that idea of dreaming, I love to play a part of it.
Oh, that's awesome. She loves to play a part in the dream. I'm going to take over now for the last time and have a conversation with Mupalo in Zambia. And as of next week, it's going to be Seraya Mentor taking Africa Beyond Borders. Welcome back to Africa Beyond Borders, and welcome to you, Mupalo. It's good to have you here. Let's start with where you are. Paint us a quick picture. Where in Zambia are you right now, and what's catching your eye or inspiring you?
So right now I'm in Lusaka, and I am quite inspired by tourist season. I have been actively working at creating a new piece of art for every zodiac season this year, and so far I've been successful. And tourist season is one of the prettiest seasons. I've noticed that the sunsets are actually different depending on the zodiac season, and Taurus has one of the prettiest sunsets. Sunsets and skyscapes influence my art a lot. So do, the zodiac signs, because I do a lot of cosmic themed art, and I do a lot of landscape, a lot of fantasy kind of landscape art.
All right, so when people ask you what you do, how do you describe your work as a creative entrepreneur, and what's something people often don't get about it?
I used to not like the question, what do you do? Because what I do is not the usual. I'm an artist, and I'm skilled at creating worlds. Now that I've had a couple of years to practice that answer when people ask, what do you do? I find that it's one of my favorite conversation starters. It's always very interesting to gauge people's reactions. It's also always very interesting to meet other artists. And that tends to be the realm that I exist in. So I don't focus a lot on what people don't get about it, and I also do not get a lot of people who don't get it anymore in my orbit, because I've intentionally cultivated a space that supports what it is that I have decided to pursue. And I suppose one thing that I could say people don't get is that art is a calling. I have tried to resist it, but I have realized as I've gotten older and as I've intentionally pursued a career in art that it chose me. I didn't choose art, and I'm glad it did.
Zambia's creative scene has been bubbling with fresh energy. What do you love most about being a part of that movement right now?
What I love most about being part of the movement right now is being part of the movement right now. Being an artist in this current time, in this current climate, in a world where Henry Tyali crowed so that we could walk, And I say that because we are still a way off, I feel. And we are currently this generation of artists in Zambia walking so that the ones that come after us can run. And hopefully, I hope that they can do that with more historical knowledge of our indigenous art practices. After the museums of stolen things return our artifacts and we can practice art more authentically, and aside from that, just existing in a time where women have more freedom and more choices than they've ever had. And I am a woman in this time with more freedom and more choices. So much so that I can choose to pursue art, or it can choose me.
Now, Mupalo, you studied in Namibia. How would you compare the creative energy in Namibia with what you've experienced back home in Zambia? Any standout differences or unexpected similarities?
Yes, I did study in Namibia, and I do recognize some stark differences between the Namibian art scene and the Zambian art scene in terms of the creative energy. For instance, there is a lack of infrastructure to support the varying art forms in Zambia. And while I am aware that Namibia has its gaps and its own lack, I find that the different kinds of artists are more integrated, and so that creates a more robust creative energy. It's flowing. Different artists practicing different kinds of arts interact more often, I feel, in the Namibian art space and are constantly fueling each other's energy. And I feel the gap in that regard in Zambia, where I find that certain art forms are focused on more than others. So you tend to find artists that practice more or less the same thing in more or less the same settings. And that for me, I find has kind of killed the flow of creative energy in the Zambian, art scene compared to the Namibian art scene. And the similarity I found between the two places is that artist archetypes are similar, which is quite interesting. An artist is an artist wherever they are, and they are recognizable, from their style to their demeanor, to their hair, to the way they talk sometimes, and that is one of, the main similarities that are found between the creative energy in Namibia and in Zambia. The vibe is the same when it comes to artists, and it's wonderful. Another similarity is also that the issue of artist exploitation, and being expected to work for food and exposure and vibes, that unfortunately is the same between here and there. The art scene is not being given the economic platform that it needs to have.
What's one creative project, either in Zambia or Namibia, that really pushes you out of your comfort zone and taught you something new?
A creative project that really pushed me out of my comfort zone has to be Ephemera. This was an exhibition that was curated by Bukle Benkosi Ndlovu, a curator who's based in Windhoek. And it was in 2019 at the Goethe Institute. And I happily participated as creative assistant on this project. And I knew from working on that that's what I wanted to do, especially since my role on that project started off very informally. It started off just as helping out a friend who was working on a creative project and assisting her with some ideas, and then going along for photo shoots and so on and so forth. And by the end of the exhibition, I had actually participated a full role in this project. And it showed me, opened up my eyes to how dynamic working in the art space can be. Also how labor intensive it can be. It was long hours of work. It was lots of, shooting, scouting for locations, making posters, figuring out the setup of the exhibition. And for me, it was wonderful. It was joyous work, is how I can put it. It really made me want to pursue a life in the arts. And it gave me, the confidence to step into the Zambian art scene, because I moved back to Zambia shortly after that, just a few months after. And when I moved to Zambia, I moved here determined to infiltrate the art scene here. And that project gave me the confidence that I needed to step into the Zambian art scene. Especially that I was stepping into the Zambian art scene now as a visual artist, where previously I had existed in the Namibian art space as a musician and as a writer, and I was now pivoting, my expression style. And I was doing that for the first time, but I was also very convicted to do so, and it also gave me the basis, the grounding for co-curating my first exhibition here. It was a group exhibition in 2023, and it was called Havoc. And we have since compiled our exhibition from then into our artwork into a publication that me and the other curators on the project plan to do more with in the future.
All right. Now, looking ahead, Mupalo, what gives you hope about the future of the creative economy in Zambia? And how do you see yourself contributing to that evolution?
Something I really look forward to for the future of the Zambian creative economy is the rise of technology and AI. And I believe that these tools will they already add an extra dimension to the already existing space. Because, for instance, artists can turn their already existing artworks into NFTs, and they can earn crypto from them. And that expands the reach of how they make money. They don't have to look to the ground specifically or fully for their earnings. And it also helps to solve the issue of artist exploitation, in my opinion. Another thing with that is that majority of the population are youth, unemployment is high, and people of a certain age range are condemned constantly for always being on their phones. The way that I see it, the rise of technology and AI levels the playing field as far as Africans and Zambians being able to participate and benefit from the fourth and fifth industrial revolutions. Because if we have a majority of a young population that's always on their phone, to me that is potentially the richest demographic waiting to happen if it's harnessed properly, and if it's utilized well, if the right skills are instilled in people. And for me personally, how I see myself contributing to that is that I have actively been learning and researching and teaching my findings, to people and helping artists learn how to turn their art into NFTs and earn crypto is something that I actively do on the day-to-day. I have been teaching communities specifically in Kitwe, my hometown, and also in Windhoek. I have taken it upon myself because that is the birthplace of my artistry. I feel quite indebted to the art scene in Namibia because it's done a lot for me. And I would like to, my way of giving back, I would like to give back by helping more and more artists learn how to put their art on the blockchain and earn through, crypto. So the way that I see it, the young demographic, the youth demographic, the people that are constantly on their phones and always being condemned for it, the way that I see that, if you merge that skill with the current, industrial revolution going, the fourth and fifth wave are very technologically based. And if we have a whole demographic of people who are a majority of the population constantly using technology, the way that I see it is that they are the richest demographic waiting to happen, because they are tools, opportunities, countless amounts of support, education available on the Web3 space, for instance. And that is something that I actively pursue with helping young people specifically turn their art into NFTs so that they can earn crypto from it. And if more and more young people get onto that train, more and more young people learn how to make crypto, we will inevitably improve the economy, and we will also solve the issue of artist exploitation, because now they're able to monetize their art and they don't have to look to the economy on the ground to do that. But in so doing, they're improving the economy on the ground. So I look forward to it, and that really, it amps me up. I look forward every day to learning more and more so that I can impart more knowledge into the communities that I have been building.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show, Mupalo Mazala, and just allowing us to dive into your experiences in Zambia and Namibia, and of course, your creativity. This has been Africa Beyond Borders with Ashwyn Mbedi, as we take a trip around the world to find Africans with unique experiences. See you next week.